Well, hello there, and welcome in. This is Tuna and the Sheriff. We're on episode number 8. I realized I have something on setting this up, which is really, really cool. But this is actually the final episode of Tuna and the Sheriff of the year because we have new league year coming up. But I am just one half of this machine. The other half of this machine is Tuna, who is
scared. You scared me. I thought you were surprising me. I was like, "What do you mean, last one?" Oh, okay.
yeah, we're getting there, man. Almost the end of the year. This is my new year, by the way.
I wore my good jersey for nothing. What are we talking about? A little Matthew Stafford?
I should have worn
Celebratory?
Should have worn my 9, dude.
That's okay. You can wear a Glock 9 next week.
Yeah,
we'll trade off.
Yeah. As a celebration, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing incredible, dude. I'm feeling good. It's ready to I'm ready to get into like training camp already. Like the second I got the Stafford news, man, it was like, let's roll, man. Summertime, this out of here, dude. Like we don't need any of that, man. But how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I got a little worried there when they're talking about he's skiing with Tom Brady and getting shades back to him and McVay down in Mexico at a resort, and all those receipts that were going to hit me on Reddit and online about Stafford's not going anywhere. I'll bet my future first child on it. I was like, man, I'm not looking so good right now. And then we were fine. So it's all good.
That's the thing. Is like it really did get to that point where it was like I was definitely sitting there, and I think Payo Time and Rams House, they'd be the only ones that actually know this, but like because I sent them a text, it was like on that day where everybody was like, he's gone. And it was like, I'm 50-50. This is the worst I've felt about it the whole time, you know. But so I don't know. At least it worked out, and he's back now, and we're rolling. GP Shadow, the Breakfast Club, dude. I kind of like this morning deal, man. This is so new from what I've done in the past, so I'm having fun with it.
Hey, you got to remember the coffee drinkers of the world, not just the what's the opposite? The tea drinkers, the sleepers. So the morning folk. Oh, Red Bull. Damn.
We gotta get this machine running, dude. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You run on diesel.
Oh yeah, man. It's there's no peace in this life, man. It's wake up screaming and start running. We got stuff to do, dude.
Oh, besides Stafford, I know a lot of folks were probably worried about how much he's going to cost, this and that. I don't think has his new contract hit the salary cap yet. Are we still waiting?
Still waiting.
Details on that.
Which, by the way, makes me feel like there's going to be a reaction on it. The reason, like, we don't have it yet because I feel like the Rams know that the second they drop it to all of us, we're going to be like, what? And I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's weird they haven't announced anything yet, even though I know it's pretty on brand for both parties to not really want to break news on stuff.
Yeah.
The cool thing is I don't think they're maxing him out. I don't think he's making over 50. I think he's taking another discount, which is something a lot of people are forgetting, that like he's played under like market value for us the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
Him doing that already is thinking about the team. Even if he did make 50, even if it was a flat 50, I don't care. That's what it cost. They're smart enough to figure it out. That's just what it costs to have a great quarterback in this league. Deal with it. That's my response. And then Jackson not taking the highest salary possible. Like, he probably could have gotten more somewhere else. I guarantee it.
I think so. I don't know, though, because like in my brain too, and I think I mentioned this on this last episode of Ram Showcase, that like maybe it's possible that there was a wish list of sorts for Stafford to say, I'll come back. I want to come back, and I'll take this number, which is blatantly lower than other teams are willing to pay me. You know that now, but bring me make sure my offensive line's back or something like that. Like, I don't think it's impossible that in there somewhere was, I'll come back for 45 a year, but I want my guy back. Give me Coop. You know, like I don't know if that happened. I don't think it's impossible. That's all.
Yeah, I could see something like that. I wish it'd be something like, hey, get these fucking training facilities done.
Yeah.
I'm only coming back if you guys stop moving us around everywhere. I'm sure that's annoying to deal with as a professional, especially in your like 16th year.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other part, the other thing I was going to ask you, do you see the Bobby Brown stuff on Twitter?
Yeah, I've been following. I've been quiet on it. I have been
Yeah.
seeing it though. I don't know, man. It just kind of seems like a guy who's in some contract negotiations to me, and that's the vibe I'm getting. So
Yeah, I feel like with him being so, I mean, I've been vocal. I'm a huge Bobby Bear fan. But yeah, I don't know how do you think Snead and McVay react like, hey, get the hell out because of the stuff like that, interacting with Stu, or
no,
what do you think?
I don't think so. And he even kind of did mention like he's like this isn't like an attack on you, Stu. It's like it was like, but I think he just got frustrated by it because I mean it kind of makes sense, man. Like knowing I don't know Bobby Brown on like a personal level, but just knowing
Yeah,
him from his college career because I'm an A&M fan, and then having him go through the Rams, like I've watched the bulk of his playing career. Um, I feel like he is underutilized. I feel like the Rams don't put him in all of the situations that he could thrive in, but also the entire time he's been with the Rams, they've also had really, really good interior defensive linemen alongside of him. Like it's been Aaron Donald, now it's Kobe Turner. Like so
yeah,
I don't know. I think that ultimately he's mad at how he's being used, but at the same time, it's like, well, that's just kind of the way the roster is dictating it right now. And you are a big dude. We need you on rundowns, man. Like, so I don't, he's a good pass rusher. I think we all know that, but it's like with our roster, we're going to put him in when it's time to stuff a run.
based on size, I think he's the biggest guy. Besides, I don't know what Tyler Davis or Gallimore were, but definitely bigger than I think
Davis,
Turner. I think he's bigger than Fisk, obviously.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, and that's not to say everyone always sees like the end product, and it's funny that this is happening because I just interviewed. My next episode is with Christina Canoe, a friend of mine. She works with the Lady Lib agency. She does all their PR. So this would have been a
Nice.
beautiful question to like break it down, but yeah, it's not great PR. It's not a good look because people would just react and see it. But
Yeah.
who's to say if the coaches haven't been perfect either? Of like you just said, not utilizing them properly. Hell, look at
Mhm.
Tutu Atwell. Like, how do you explain the justification of not even using him the right way?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the same situation. He could be the Tutu Atwell of our defense for some reason. Um, he'll be. I mean, he is good. He's very good, and
Mhm.
players have pride. Players have ego. So yeah, I don't know. I hope he stays. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I mean,
sad.
and it's also it's also one of those things where it's like it's on popping up on the internet, so it's like it's getting a lot of attention right now. But
Hmm.
I mean, the way that I feel like this new wave of like the internet is like, yeah, everything is available, everybody sees everything, but people also forget pretty quick. And I think that if he resigns, then like 2 days after he signs a new contract, I think everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, he was kind of
Huzzah!
complaining a little bit." Like it's like, yeah, I just feel like everybody would forget. So I don't know.
Whoever brings that up, everyone else is gonna be like, "Shut up, nerd."
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
exactly. Like not now, man. Like so,
Nobody
yeah.
cares. What other big news? The Alex Jackson
Jonah,
signed, Stafford signed.
Jonah's the big other news.
Oh, yeah. Break it down for us. What
Yeah,
do we
man.
miss with that?
So I think that ultimately the way to look at the Jonah Jackson situation and trade, the Rams receiving a 6th round pick in return for Jonah Jackson, and the Bears taking his contract, massive. The fact that the Rams can kind of like eat some dead cap and wash their hands of that situation is like kind of crispy. So
Oh,
I
for
think that ultimately though it's to be looked at as he's a good player, and I don't care what anybody says. It didn't work out for us. He's going to do fine in Chicago, and there's going to be situations where he makes a play, some block that springs a big run, and it's going to make every Rams fan be like, "Oh man, like we could have had that." And it's like, yeah, but it's just a situational thing. It's like we picked him up. We didn't know that Bo Limmer was going to show up and actually be awesome at center, like as a 6th round rookie. We had no
yeah,
idea. So bringing a guy, I feel like we rushed him back from injury, didn't have his rhythm yet, and then Bo Limmer did, so put Bo Limmer back in, and no reason to have that dollar amount sitting on your bench. So a 6th round pick, man, I'm not mad about it one bit. Jonah Jackson now gets a chance to actually go play because if he was going to stick around with the Rams, he's going to be sitting on the bench probably all year unless there was injury, which obviously we don't want to see. So I think it's best for the Bears. I think it's best for Jonah. I think it's best for the Rams. I think that everybody wins in this situation. And Bo Limmer just kind of threw a whole wrench into the Jonah Jackson coming over to the Rams situation last year. So
that speaks to the. I mean, we'll get into the draft thing in a second, but yeah, that's such an interesting thing. Like, I have so many questions because remember they were rotating him and Avila at center guard, like out of nowhere. They're like, oh, actually, he's going to play guard. He's going to go center. And I wonder how much Bo Limmer's rise during training camp had to do with that. And then rushing him back. I mean, is that now the training staff? Because we see the same thing with like Cup constantly. It seems like he will come back, but then it's always still lingering. And then how much is that is on Jonah, like feeling, oh, damn, this rookie is like on my ass. I need to get back in there, keep my spot. Yeah, what a weird scenario. And it's so funny. I wish I would have posted. Like I refrained from posting even on Blue Sky or Instagram my like thought on this. But every mock draft I've done, I've traded Jonah Jackson to the Bears for a 5th rounder. So I was off by 1 round.
Nice.
But my justification was like, oh, yeah, like if we can unload him somewhere, the Bears need him. He played with Ben Johnson in Detroit. This is a perfect fit. It makes sense. Yep. I'm so mad I didn't say this last week.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And the Bears getting in Joe Tuna as well. That's I mean, they added 2 really solid offensive linemen, and they're trying to protect Caleb. I still am not sold that Caleb is the guy. I think that Caleb is good. I don't think that Caleb's great. I think that if you protect him, you'll do fine, but I don't think he's a superstar.
So think so?
No. I don't see it. It's mental. Talent-wise, he's got it. Mentally, he's not it. So
yeah, I could see either way. I don't really have a super strong opinion. I'm just giving you some shit. But
my thing too is like the draft leading into the draft. It was like I don't like. It's like he's not the one, man. Like he's not the guy I would want. That's it. Like I was on Jaden all day. I was like, yeah, Jaden's my guy. Like that's if I needed a quarterback, Jaden was it last year.
He's legitimately electric. Like it is ridiculous how electric Jaden Daniels is. Speaking of quarterbacks, I had a thought and I want to ask you what you think about it. So we know what our needs are on both offense and defense, like roster wise. And we keep hearing people talking about like, oh, take this guy in the draft. Oh, trade back. What if, with all the bullshit that's coming out from people about Shedeur Sanders, let's say for some reason he is the one, because there's always one guy that falls in the draft dramatically, and everyone's like, we don't know why. It's so crazy. Because if he drops out of the top 10, he could go. The next 15 teams don't need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What if Shedeur Sanders is at 26 for some weird reason? Do the Rams take him just as best player available as a backup for Stafford to develop? Or do you leave it and just go take what you need?
That's tough. I always I'm BPA is your draft strategy. When you're up, get the best player that's on the board, or at least on your board. You know, that's how I feel about it. If Shedeur were to drop, because I think Shedeur, I'm not sold on Shedeur. He's one of those guys too that I think that where he goes matters more than anybody in this draft class.
Fair.
I think that if because my dad had brought it up, because like once there was the thing, as I told him, I was like, I don't really like Shedeur. Being out here in Colorado, it's that's Shedeur.
Oh yeah, you're on the ground floor. Holy shit,
it's big out here. So so I brought it up to my dad that I just don't think he's really that good. And then there was talks about the Rams maybe getting the 3rd overall pick and maybe taking Sanders. And then I was like, hey, that'd be interesting. He's like, I thought you didn't like him. And it's like, yeah, I like him with McVay and Puka behind this line and like Kyron Williams behind him. It's like, I don't like him in New York with only Malik Neighbors and nobody else. Like, it's situational, man. Like where he lands, I think is absolutely massive. If he lands himself with a good coach, with a good scheme, with some weapons around him, because he's got talent, but this is the NFL now. Everybody's good. So if you can get him with some true weapons, then I think that in the right offense, I think that he could do well. But I think that he's potentially one of those guys that's going to get absolutely burned by getting drafted by the Giants or the Browns or somebody like that, where it's like, oh, he's done. He's like, in 5 years, let's check back in on Shedeur and see if anybody still is willing to take a swing on him, because that's all he's doing. Like, he's not going to make it past that on his deal
with
there.
With his new PTSD from playing in that city. It,
Exactly, dude.
God forbid he goes to Cleveland. I just my
I feel
worst
Jets,
fear.
dude. Jets make so much sense to me. I don't know.
I'd be fine with that. I know they're also not a great franchise,
Yeah.
like, but Cleveland is the one black hole of just quarterback of nonsense because of the Deshaun Watson thing, because of the
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, the cap situation. I don't want either quarterback, Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, to go there because that feels like it just takes away from potential fun. It's like Saquon was on the Giants. It's like you guys kept Saquon from us for 5 years or whatever, and we
And
finally get to appreciate a great player when he
dude,
finally goes to Philly. Same
we've
thing.
done that with Steven Jackson, where it's like if he would have been anywhere else, dude, he's already
Oh
got a gold
yeah.
jacket. But it's like because he was on a terrible Rams team and he was the only player worth a damn, it's like now we just know how awesome he is, you know.
I got to know the story behind how a school like Oregon State recruited a freaking freak like Steven Jackson. I don't understand that. Like, how the
He
hell did you guys land him in Corvallis?
well, like, yeah, he goes to Oregon State, so it's like it feels like wasn't as recruited as he needed to be or whatever. Dropped to the Rams, like let's be real here, in the 20s. That's kind of crazy for Steven Jackson. You
Mm-hmm.
redraft that class, he's top 5 pick, you know. So yeah, kind of crazy. He's just always been a little under the radar, but he's so good.
I have a actually I think about it. My buddy who I look at as honestly like my adoptive father. He
Yeah,
was at Oregon State around the same time where you got Steven Jackson, Ocho Cinco. Like he was on the staff.
sick.
I need to ask him about that. I never like he told stories, but I never asked him about how the hell did you guys even get him? Like it doesn't make any sense. Or how Ocho Cinco
Mhm.
was taking classes at a second school at the same time, and somebody was taking classes for him just so he can make grades.
It's so sick. I love that, dude. I love that kind of stuff, man. I love that those obnoxious stories of that. Like we were just talking about Johnny Manziel the other day at work and stuff, and it was like I was like I love his stories, dude. It's so fun to me. It's like because I love my players to be like I love that my quarterback is Matthew Stafford. He's not getting into trouble. Yeah, we know he's gonna go like he's showing up to work. He's gonna be fine and things like that. But there is a little something about a player that's completely unhinged where you don't know what's going to happen that just is so much fun. So I'm here for it all.
Johnny Manziel is the walking Van Wilder. He's literally Van Wilder.
It's
That's
incredible.
who it
I love
was.
it. I
And
like that he lied about his entire backstory. His entire backstory, saying that his family like owned oil rigs and stuff like that, and then just to explain why he had so much money all the time. It's so cool.
other shit.
Oh, I love it.
I thought it was
Badass.
true. I remember that. I thought it was true. I literally thought
No,
it was all true.
no, he was trying to
Yeah.
explain why he had so much cash all the time because he was selling his autographs. Awesome.
I hope he never gets flack for that because I know Reggie Bush just got his Heisman back, but
Yeah.
but back on track with the Ram stuff. Well, you know what I need, and shout out to Blaine Grizak again. His article about the combine was really, really cool. He's going to be coming on tomorrow talking about the combine, like just letting him just rip it.
Nice.
I know you haven't been doing a lot of draft stuff, but I got to bring it up. What I really want the Rams to do, like this new version off season, this next step of like, okay, how do we get a Super Bowl? We need a weapon. We need a big threat. Like Puka's great, Kyron's great, but we need an X factor. Like we need someone to blow the top off of offenses. I need Matthew Golden on this team
Ooh.
like a diabetic needs sugar. Like I need it badly. Like I need it.
Dude, I like it,
Sorry.
man.
Sorry to all the insulin takers out there. No offense. Sorry. I need it.
I'm with you, dude. And I also don't think it's impossible that first of all, having Jordan Whittington, I think that could kind of factor in there a little bit of like, oh, I played with him last year and he's good at this or something. Like there's something. Even
Yeah.
they've got all the info and they can just go talk to him. It's not like it's a secret, you know what I mean? Like they don't have to like they're not calling Jordan like, what can you tell us about Matthew? Like that doesn't have to happen, you know, but I do think it helps. And then also the Rams having conversations with guys like Quinn Ewers, I think does factor into that as well. But I think you're right that Golden would be what feels like a really good scheme fit and a piece that this Rams offense is kind of missing, that he would kind of fill that role, which would be really nice. And hopefully he would have a higher production level than somebody like a Tavon Austin or a Tutu Atwell, players that are kind of we pencil him into that kind of that archetype, but haven't been able to produce consistently.
The cool thing is he's definitely bigger than like Tutu Atwell.
Mm-hmm.
I'd equate him to like a really, really, really fast Robert Woods. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
what that kind of reminds me of. Like his style where he just pure receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need that guy badly. Like trade up. Like I'm okay with him trading up for him. 1,000%.
I mean, yeah, because I don't know about where he's looking at getting grabbed. I have no idea.
Before the combine, it was like around the 20s, like late mid first round. But the fact he ran a 4.3 at the combine boosted his stock.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was, people knew he's fast, but not that fast.
Fair.
I could see him going like 12, 15. Like I don't think top 10, but in the 10 to 20 range. Like I think we'd have to move up into there.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. David's coming in here asking thoughts on Tyler Lockett. This is actually something that I was talking with Rams House and Payo Time about. Is I don't really want Lockett. I mean, his age and stuff like that is like I just don't think it's really necessary. He does though feel like the exact kind of player who thrives in a McVay offense. Like he feels like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, like that player type where I feel like he would go off with us, but I don't really want him, so I don't know.
I could see him like bringing him in as that because you do want like a veteran in every room, and if Cooper Kupp truly does get traded, like you need someone besides Puka to be the elder statesman.
Bring me back D-Rob, man.
D-Rob. But I could see a Lockett. You do want like a shifty slot guy. You don't need him. You don't need Lockett to be the burner. Just hey, second and medium, third and medium. Need you to get open somehow. Really safe contested catches. That's annoying how well that fits. I can see that.
Yeah, but it's also
division rival.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense too because it's like as I'm saying these words, I understand how ridiculous it sounds. Of like, oh, I think this person would thrive with us. Perfect person to play with us. Don't want him. It's like I realize how that sounds, but it's like also I think mainly it's like his age and stuff like that. Like it's like we don't really need to try to do this,
Yeah, I don't know if like I think seems like the kind of guy who's probably aware of what his like status is in the league as a veteran, where it's like, yeah, I'm not out here trying to get top 10 money. Like I want to be paid for my services. He'd be like a 800-yard, like 8 touchdown kind of guy at the max of like key areas, key downs, like gotta have it type possession receiver. I could see that. And I saw DK Metcalf get requested a trade. Do you think he's going anywhere?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I can't get it out of my brain that he's going to Green Bay. I can picture him there. Everything just makes sense to me. I don't know.
Has your buddy's been selling it to you, hasn't he?
No, he mentioned one time to me that he wouldn't hate it. That's all he said, and then now I'm locked in. But my brain's also going to Vegas for Metcalf.
Oh, because of Pete.
Yeah. So. David's also saying Joey Bosa to the Niners watch. I don't know why, dude. I'm just running on pure vibes here. I feel like he goes to – I think he replaces Garrett in Cleveland.
Just adding so much shit to that Cleveland. Dude, how miserable. Does anybody have a Browns fan that we could bring up? Like, I just want to talk to a Browns fan of like, how are you doing?
Dude, so funny. Because – I always kind of like I've said it for years. Like I know a fan of every team, and I still do know a Browns fan. But the one Browns fan that was going to the bar that we go to, he actually decided to change teams, and I've never seen it before. It was like it blew my mind. It was like, well, you can do that, because I've never considered it. You know what I mean? But he actually changed teams from the Browns because he said he refuses to be part of a fan base that was willing to cheer their own quarterback getting hurt. He said he couldn't do it. And to my brain was like, well, just don't be one of those fans then. Like, because if Rams fans were cheering Matthew Stafford getting hurt, it'd be like, oh, screw those fans. I still like Matthew. Like,
Oh, I'm fighting somebody in the stands. It's, man, and we'll leave all the controversial stuff out of here. But with all the Watson's, off-field stuff, it's just there's so much, and all the guaranteed. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Well, they've changed
yeah.
some stuff.
I
It
forgot I had
seems
this on.
like based on their restructures that they were just doing, it seems like he may be there just this last year, and that's going to be it this upcoming, and then that's it. Because after that, they kind of have an out on his deal just because that restructure they just did.
Is there anybody, speaking of restructures and trades and people getting released out of nowhere, is there
Mhm.
anybody out there that you really want to see on the Rams right now? Because it seems like I need to stay off Reddit because every time there's any news, there's a release or somebody requesting a trade, somebody's in there
Mhm.
like DK Metcalf. It's like, okay, we're not getting every person. Like, let's be
Mhm.
realistic here. Is there anybody out there that you have your eye on?
Not necessarily that I want or anything. I don't think it's unrealistic that Darius Slay would show up, though.
Isn't he like 38? He's super old. I'm exaggerating, but like we did this last year. Like we got
Yeah,
two older guys. Like, and I no shade at them, but
yeah.
we just did this.
That's dude. Like I feel like such a jerk because like I keep on saying it of like I think we can get better at corners than we were last year, and people are like, but Akello's awesome, and it's like, yeah, I like Akello too, but like we can get better. Like I don't dislike
Yeah.
Akello. I'm fine if he comes back, but I think that there's better players. Like
It's no
think
shade
that
at
he
Kelly at
had.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that he was a little bit streaky. So was D Will though. D Will had a few. He started the season where it was like, hell yeah, this is the D Will I remember, man. Like this is awesome. And then it like quickly after that, he had like a stretch where it's like, yo, what are we doing out here, my guy? Like, so
uh, yeah, we are. Like I saw a comment that we're about an elite corner away from being like a championship defense.
yeah,
And I agree. I can agree with that.
yeah.
I just don't know where we get that. Do we find a phenom rookie in the draft? Do we go and like force someone away that's unhappy where they are? I don't know if the Browns have anybody that they're trying to unload cap on.
Well, I don't think it's impossible that Jair Alexander could be in play for that, but his
That's
injury
true.
history recently has been why the Packers fans are like, yeah, you guys can take him. It's like they're good. Like they're like, all right, yeah, he's just been beat up. So
Constantly hurt. He barely played last year.
mhm.
Yeah, again, it's like why I get so frustrated with this where like I contradict myself where I'm like, yeah, let's go take a flyer on a guy that nobody else wants and then we'll develop them and reap the
Yeah,
benefits. But then it's like it's so risky. It's like, oh yeah, let's go pay a bunch of money for a guy who has had a torn ACL, who's missed half a season both last 2 years. It's like
yeah,
I don't yeah. Mm.
yeah.
For us
There's a
for us having re-signed two of our most important positions, why do we sound like a bunch of sad Rams fans? What is
yeah. I
wrong
don't
with
know.
us?
It is funny. There are so many names that we still are like, what's going on here? Like Michael Hoyt, that's one where it's like, do we bring him back or do we feel okay about that group now being veteran enough to not have that guy? Same with interior defensive line with Bobby Brown. It's like, do we feel good enough about having Kobe be the guy and not and be the veteran? And then you also have the guys in the secondary. What are we doing at inside linebackers like that? There's a lot of question marks. It's like, yeah, we feel like we're doing the right things. You're bringing back, Stafford. We got our offensive line in order, stuff like that. But there is still a lot of stuff where it's like, we don't know what's happening here on a lot of things. So,
Uh yeah, I'm really curious because it's like I could see both sides, especially with the Bobby Brown thing. Like he's on my list to bring back just because of
mhm.
size and I think based on vibes. Like you got to keep that
He
group
likes it here.
together. He likes it here. I'm sure he wants it here. I don't think he's asking for top 10 money, something like that.
Mhm.
And it's like think of the group as a whole. Like keep him here, keep Michael Hoyt here. Um, that group found something special. Like we have a special group. You got to keep them together, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm all on board for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's one of those things too where after the year of that season, it's like, oh, we need to accumulate. We're right here. We're right here. Like just don't tear this apart and try to rebuild it. It's like just add in what you need. Like we're so close, man. So I do got to get running here, man. But do we got any final thoughts on the last episode of the year? It's going to be the new league year next time we talk, man.
I think by next week I think we make a play for a big name. I'll just say that.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know what. I'm gonna keep it as vague as possible so I can say I was right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
fair. Yeah.
For all my
I,
non-sources. Yep, I was right.
I'm still gonna because my predictions didn't change really. Like I think I said it here last week that I thought Matthew Stafford was gonna stay. Um, but I will say that I kind of agree with what David's saying here. I think the Cup stays. I think that we'll get that news that of a restructure, and it's gonna be like, yeah, we didn't see this coming, but it kind of just worked out this way. And I'll tell you why. The reason I think that is the value of Cooper Cup in via trade or anything like that is dramatically dropping with all these other wide receivers becoming available. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, stuff like that. There's a lot of names floating around now. Cooper Cup, the value, the need is dropping. So I think that it's possible that the Rams can't really get anything for him and decide to keep him around. And he's maybe like, all right, yeah, I'll take less money. So
You need to cash in those favors, Sneed. All those pick swaps you've done.
straight
Somebody
up,
owes you a favor to give us a first rounder for
straight
Cup.
up. This is the perfect time, man. Make good on that stuff. Get 2 1s for Cup.
Should tell them where the bodies are buried, Sneed. Tell them.
Oh, yeah, man. All right, I gotta get running to work. But New Year is coming up on us, and yeah, man.
My big sleeves.
Joe B. Bryant, yeah.
Joe B. Bryant, I hate you.
yeah. What player? What kind of player are we gonna list?
Ooh, let's go kickers. Ooh, Sebastian Janikowski.
All right, give me Josh Brown.
Oh my God, Josh Brown. Robbie Gould.
Ooh, I like that. Jan